The flight. Mjolnir finds Skylar on the cliff top. She has been there for hours, watching the moons track across the sky, feeling the cold wind off the sea. Kaida is curled in her lap, the little fire dragon's warmth a small comfort against the vast emptiness inside her chest. You are grieving. Mjolnir's voice in her mind is not gentle, but it is not harsh either. It is simply truth. Yes, the one called Cam. He was yours. He was my friend. My only friend. Then his death should not go unanswered. Skylar looks up. The silver dragon is immense against the stars, his scales reflecting moonlight like a second sky. His violet eyes are fixed on her with an intensity that would have terrified her weeks ago. Now it feels like recognition. What am I supposed to do? Kill the king? I can't. Not yet. The witch princess says I have to wait. She is correct, but waiting does not mean stillness. Mjolnir lowers his massive head. Fly with me. I don't know how you do. You have always known. Bond or no bond, you are dragonkind. Skylar de Varus. Fire and fury and flight. You have only forgotten. She climbs onto his back. The scales are warm beneath her hands, ridged for grip. And when Mjolnir launches into the sky, Skylar's stomach drops and then soars. The wind tears at her hair, the castle shrinks below her. The sea spreads out like a sheet of hammered silver, and for one impossible moment, Skylar is not a prisoner, or a weapon, or a girl who has lost everything. She is flying. Mjolnir banks over the ocean, and she can feel his joy, a fierce, ancient joy that has nothing to do with politics or wars or dying kings. This is what dragons are. This is what they were made for, and for a handful of heartbeats, Skylar lets herself belong to it. When they land back on the cliff top, the sun is rising, the duel is hours away. Axel is waiting for her. He stands at the edge of the cliff, his face unreadable, his hands at his sides. He has been there a while, Skylar thinks, long enough for the cold to redden his cheeks. Skylar, no. She walks past him, Kaida clinging to her shoulder. Whatever you're going to say, I don't want to hear it. Please. She stops. Something in his voice, a rawness she has never heard from him before, pulls her around. I'm sorry, Axel says, for whatever is about to happen, for whatever my family has done to yours, for Cam, for Jessa, for all of it. Sorry doesn't bring them back, I know. He takes a step toward her, then stops. But I need you to know whatever happens tomorrow. You what? Axel's jaw works. Whatever he was going to say, he swallows it. You're going to win tomorrow. Skylar stares at him. She thinks of the garden, his father walking into the sea, his mother bleeding out on the floor of the nursery, the boy who was raised by a queen who uses grief as a weapon. I know, she says, and walks away. The last night. The morning feast is a farce. Skylar had planned to refuse. She was going to sit in her room and sharpen her knives and wait for dawn. But Astrid asks her to come, and Skylar finds she cannot say no to the witch princess anymore. Whatever is growing between them, friendship, alliance, the bond they have not yet named, it is stronger than her rage. The feast is held in the gardens. Lanterns hang from every tree. Wine flows. Nobles in mourning colors pretend to grieve for a woman they never knew, and Skylar wants to burn every last one of them. She finds Astrid at the head table. A veteran nobleman, Lord Sebastian Devereaux, who bought his seat from the king, who treats the heirs like entertainment, is leaning over Astrid's hand, pressing his lips to her knuckles. Skylar is beside him before she knows she has moved. If you touch her again, Skylar says, her voice conversational, I will drain every drop of life from your body and leave your corpse for the crows. Sebastian Devereaux goes white. He releases Astrid's hand, he backs away, he does not return to the table. Thank you, Astrid says quietly. Don't mention it. Zorion arrives shortly after. He claims the seat on Astrid's other side with a look that makes Sebastian's dinner companions scatter. His hand finds Astrid's under the table, and Skylar pretends not to notice. The king rises to give a toast. He speaks of honor, sacrifice, the sacred duty of the duel. He raises his glass to Skylar, the daughter of Vatra, the chosen heir, the hope of the Fire Dynasty, and Skylar feels her power surge. Kanala! She shatters her glass against the table. The sound cuts through the noble chatter like a blade. Wine spills across the white linen like blood. The garden goes silent. I don't want your honor, Skylar says. Her voice carries. She wants it to carry. I don't want your toast. I don't want anything from you, any of you. She looks at the assembled nobles, at their painted faces and their jeweled hands and their casual complicity in everything the king has done, and Cam Nightlock was a conscript. He was taken from his home, drugged, and shipped to a camp. He died there. And you, all of you, celebrate the king who killed him. You eat his food. You drink his wine. You pretend you don't know what's happening. The king's face has gone still. Skylar, he says, voice gone tight. Skylar holds up her hand, the wine still dripping from her fingers. I'm not finished. She stands. Tomorrow I fight Astrid. Tomorrow one of us dies. But tonight I want every person in this garden to know I am not your heir. I am not your hope. I am the consequence of everything you've done. And when this is over, I will not forget. She walks out. The silence follows her through the gardens, past the wilting flowers, past the fountain with its stone dragon. She is shaking. Her power is leaking out of her, and she cannot stop it. A tree withers as she passes. The twinkling lights overhead fizzle and die. She doesn't care. She wants to destroy something. She wants to scream. Astrid finds her near the cliff's edge. That was reckless. Everything I do is reckless. True. Astrid's voice is gentle, but it was also brave, and it needed to be said. Skylar laughs a hollow, broken sound. Cam is dead. Jessa is dead. Tomorrow, one of us is dead. And I'm supposed to just attend a feast, make small talk with the people who murdered my mother? No. Astrid steps closer. You're supposed to survive, and then you're supposed to make them pay. She holds out her hand. In her palm is Cam's ring. I found it in your room. I thought you might want it back. For tomorrow, Skylar takes the ring, slides it onto her finger. It fits perfectly. I need you to promise me something, Astrid says. If it comes to it, if the duel ends the way the king wants it to end, don't let Mjolnir kill me. My mother needs a body to sail. She needs something to burn. Skylar's throat closes. Astrid, promise me. I promise. Astrid steps forward and hugs her. It is not a polite embrace. It is the full-body grip of someone who has lost too many people and refuses to lose one more. Her arms wrap around Skylar's shoulders, and Skylar can feel the tremor in her breath. I'm glad I knew you, Astrid says. Whatever happens tomorrow. Then she pulls back, and before Skylar can answer, she is walking away back toward the castle, toward the room where Bastet waits, toward the dawn that will bring the duel. Skylar stands alone on the cliff, Cam's ring on her finger, Kaida warm against her neck, and she says the words she couldn't say to Astrid's face. I'm glad I knew you too. The wind carries her voice out to sea. The moons track westward. The duel is 6 hours away, and Skylar Deveris ex-Houster, dragon heir, daughter of a murdered mother and a murderous king, prepares herself for war. Episode 6. Last night before the duel to Astrid opens the portal and follows Skylar into another whir. Ryan teleports her to his balcony, and for the first time Astrid doesn't feel the sickness. Creed. She lands steady, his arm around her waist. How is she? He asks. Steeling herself. Shed felt it pouring off Skylar in the corridor, the desperation, the self-loathing, the way she was preparing to kill the woman who has become the closest thing to a friend she has left. I don't want to talk about it, Astrid says. I don't even want to think. Tomorrow she walks into a cage with a woman who drains life with a touch. Only one of them walks out. She's known this for 6 weeks. Knowing doesn't make tonight easier. Zryan tilts her chin up. Are you sure you want to be here? Show me your room. He guides her inside. The space is sparer than she expected. A 4-poster bed with dark linens, a desk covered in papers, a bookshelf crammed with volumes on history and magic, and the only luxury is the view. The whole western sky, stars and moons, and the distant glint of the sea. This is the first time I've ever brought anyone here, Zaryan says, quieter than she's ever heard him. This room is the only place in the castle that's mine. My mother doesn't enter. The servants don't enter. Even Axel knows to knock. Astrid turns to him. The composed mask he wears in public is gone. His silver eyes are raw, exhausted, ringed with shadows. He looks terrified. Why me? Because I'm tired of pretending you're my enemy. He steps toward her. Because if you die tomorrow, I want there to be one place in this castle that remembers you. Remembers this. This hangs between them. The thing that's grown from hostility to grudging respect, to stolen glances and accidental teleportation, to him catching her in the library and her biting an assassin's throat out. To her amplifier gift reaching for his teleportation like a hand finding a glove. I want to forget everything, Astrid says. Just for tonight. The duel, the blight, Jessa. Everything. His hands find her waist. Then be here. She has never allowed herself to want like this. Her whole life has been duty, survival, the crushing weight of a queendom she never asked for. When Ryan kisses her, she kisses back with a hunger that startles her. She pulls at his shirt. He lifts his arms, lets her strip it off, and then she's looking at the scar, the long, straight line running from his sternum to below his navel, silver against his brown skin. She traces it with her fingertip. He shivers. I want to mark you, she says, fiercer than she intended, so everyone knows you were mine, even if only for one night. His jaw tightens. You think I'll want anyone else after you? Don't make promises about after. There might not be an after. Then I'll make them anyway. I catches her wrist, presses her palm flat against his chest over his heart. Astrid Naxtern, whatever happens tomorrow, I am yours. That doesn't end. She believes him. She shouldn't. He is the son of the king destroying her homeland, the brother of the woman she's supposed to kill. But she believes him. He lifts her onto the bed. The dark linens are cool against her back. He crawls over her, staring down with an expression half wonder and half hunger. He lays a hand over her heart, and she begins to calm. Later, time has become meaningless. She is beneath him, and he is inside her, and the world has narrowed to the two of them. His forehead pressed to hers, the rhythm of their bodies finding each other in the dark. And then something shifts. It starts as a warmth in her chest, where her gift lives. A hum of magic rising unbidden. She feels it reach for him, feels his teleportation answer. His is storms and stars, the electric charge of lightning about to strike. Hers is mountains and seas, the deep slow power of glaciers carving valleys. The two magics twine together. Astrid, I feel it too. The magic builds, pressing against her skin, brighter and brighter. Her gift amplifies him without her willing it, pushing his teleportation past every limit. They vanish. Not to his balcony, somewhere in between a place of no place, darkness and stars and the sensation of falling upward. She can feel him inside her still, can feel his arms around her, but she cannot see him. Then they are back, on the balcony flagstones, the cold stone against her bare back, both of them gasping, clinging to each other as the magic recedes in slow pulsing waves. What was that? She manages. I don't know. That's never happened before. Your teleportation. Our teleportation. He lifts his head. You pulled me through. I didn't do that. You did. His teleportation, amplified by her gift, took them somewhere neither intended. And she remembers, this is the same thing that happened when she amplified Skylar's power in the cells. Pouring herself into someone else's magic, making it more than it could ever be alone. I guess we do work together, she says. He laughs broken, disbelieving, and lowers his forehead to hers. Under the stars. They lie on the balcony floor. Zryan has flipped them so she lies on top of him, no part of her touching the cold stone. His hands play idly with the pendant at her throat, the silver constellation of Squawky, the huntress goddess. Jessa wore its twin. What is this constellation? He asks. The goddess Squanzi. She's a survivor who lives in the harshest environments, resourceful, wild. She's also the goddess of found family, of bonds that aren't blood but run deeper than blood. Her voice catches. Jessa and I both wore her constellation. We chose each other. Zaryan is quiet for a moment. I'm sorry I never knew her. She sounds like someone worth knowing. She gave her life for me. Quincy gave his life for me. And tomorrow I have to walk into that cage and try to survive. Yes, you do. His arms tighten. You want to survive. You want to go home. You want to fix the heart and save your people. I want more nights like this. She lifts her head. I want to wake up beside you. I want to stand on a balcony and look at the stars and not be afraid of what the morning will bring. He doesn't answer. There's nothing to say. So instead, he kisses her, slow and deep and thorough. Dawn comes too fast. They don't sleep. They lie on the balcony until the cold drives them inside. Then they make love again, slower this time, deliberate, as if memorizing the shape of each other. His mouth on her shoulder, her teeth on his collarbone, his hands mapping the curve of her spine. I could love you, Astrid says, and the words feel dangerous. Don't say it like it's a goodbye. Then promise me something. Anything. Save Skylar. She props herself up on her elbow. If I die, she's your sister. She's brave and she's broken and she's the only chance either of our kingdoms has. Get her out of the cage. Put her on the throne. Astrid, help my mother. She's going to want to burn Vatra to the ground. Stop her. Find another way, I promise. Fix the heart. Stop the blight. Find out what your father is doing and undo it. There are thousands dying in the flatlands. Millions more if the blight spreads. I promise. And don't let Mjolnir kill me. Don't let him blow me apart the way he blew apart that guard. My mother needs a body to sail. Zorion flinches. Astrid, promise me. I promise all of it. But you're not going to die. I won't let you. You can't. The Covenant spell is unbreakable. Once that cage locks, only death opens it. He closes his eyes. She can see the truth settling into him like cold water into stone. He has searched for months, through every book in the library, every scroll, every record of every duel ever fought. He has found nothing. I choose you, he says. Whatever cage, whatever king, I choose you. She kisses him. It tastes like salt tears, hers or his. She can't tell anymore. The rebel leader. The knock comes at the worst possible moment. They are still tangled in the sheets when the door flies open. Zorion lunges upright, his body blocking Astrid from view, and stops. Jelani, his voice is sharp. The man in the doorway is one of Zrion's Dreki, a tall black man with a shaved head and urgent eyes. He registers Astrid in the bed, registers the state they're in, and doesn't flinch. Simone's been captured, Jelani says. The Queen's people took her an hour ago. She was following a lead about the heart. They were waiting for her. There's a nullifier working with them. Simone couldn't shift. Couldn't call her animal form. A nullifier. Astrid's blood goes cold. Nullifiers are rarer than teleporters, rarer than ex-hosters. If the Queen has one, every blooded in the rebel network is vulnerable. Who else knows? Zorion asks. Just me. I came straight here. Good. I'll go. You can't. Astrid sits up, clutching the sheet to her chest. You have to go after Simone. Now. I'm not leaving you. You promised. She swings her legs over the side of the bed. You promised to save Skylar, to help my mother, to fix the heart. You can't do any of that if you're dead. Go. Rescue Simone. Do what you do. What I do. He stares at her. You know. She knows? Jelani looks between them. It's all right. Zorion holds up a hand, his eyes still on Astrid. How long have you known? That you're a rebel? Since you freed Mikhail from the dungeons. I saw you torture him. I saw you cut off his fingers. And then I saw you tell him to run. I saw you use Mjolnir to show him a vision, and I saw you punch him unconscious so your father would believe the prisoner escaped on his own. I've known for weeks. Then you know why I can't. I know you're the leader. She looks at Jelani, who nods once, confirming it. You didn't just join the rebellion. You built it. You're the reason blooded conscripts have been escaping. That means you have responsibilities bigger than me. The duel will survive the duel. I have to. You just promised me you'd put Skylar on the throne, and I intend to collect on that promise. She cups his face. Go. Save Simone. I'll find you afterward. He kisses her, hard and desperate. Then he pulls back, his eyes wet. I will find you, he says. After the duel. I will never let you go again. Promises, she says, and manages a smile. Well, Kea, You're getting good at those. He laughs broken, ragged, and then he and Jelani are gone. Astrid dresses slowly. Her trousers, her tunic, her boots. She checks the brewer's belt. The vials are all in place. Immobilizing elixir, mind pain potion, healing remedy, antidote. She takes one last look at the room, the bed they shared, the balcony where they lay beneath the stars, and walks out to meet the dawn. The arena. The arena is cut into the cliff face, a natural amphitheater packed with nobles and soldiers and commoners. The sky is pale winter gray, heavy with unshed snow. The cage dominates the center, a dome of interlocking metal bars, each etched with runes that pulse with trapped magic. Once the cage locks, it stays locked until one combatant dies. No surrender, no mercy, no escape. Skylar scans the sky, calling for Mjolnir through the strange bond that connects her to the silver dragon. No response. He's gone, Kaida says. The little fire dragon is wrapped around Skylar's neck like a scaled scarf. He left last night. I felt him go. He didn't tell anyone. The custodian approaches, an old man with trembling hands and sharp eyes. Where is the dragon Mjolnir? Not here. He must enter the cage. The agreement, do you see him? Skylar gestures at the empty sky. The custodian frowns. The king leans forward from his dais as a guard whispers in his ear. Then the hatchling will enter in his place, the custodian says. Kaida can't, she's barely bigger than my arm. She can't breathe fire yet. The agreement specifies a dragon. The hatchling qualifies. Kaida lifts her head. I'll go. I'm not leaving you alone in there. Skylar wants to argue, but there's no time. Guards usher her toward the cage entrance. The blood binding is reversed first. The custodian speaks the words, and Skylar feels the thread that connects her to Astrid snap. A sharp pain behind her ribs. A sudden emptiness. Across the arena, Astrid's shoulders hitch a sharp, involuntary jerk. Skylar knows she felt the snap. The cage doors close, the runes flare bright, the lock clicks into place with a finality that echoes off the cliff walls. Skylar draws her pin, her mother's hairpin, sharpened to a killing point. Kaida crouches beside her, bronze scales glittering. Across the arena, Astrid unsheathes her claw blade. Bastet stands at her side, hackles raised. Cam's ring is cold on Skylar's finger. The duel. Skylar stalks forward, her power leaking out in white tendrils. The plants pushing up through the arena floor wilt as she passes. The grass browns. Afraid, she calls. The witch princess doesn't answer. She's circling, claw blade low, eyes tracking Skylar's movements. But Skylar can see the tension in her shoulders. She's already grieving. Good. Grief will make her slow. Nice to know she's been practicing, Skylar murmurs. She lets her voice carry. You know, Jessa told me once that you blamed yourself for your father's death. She said it was the saddest thing Shed ever seen. Astrid stops. Don't what? Mention your dead father? Mention your dead best friend? She was easy to befriend, you know. She was so desperate to protect you that Shed trust anyone. It was almost stop. The word is a whip crack. Stop talking about her. Or what? Skylar spreads her arms. What are you going to do? Lot. Cast at me. We both know how that ends. You try to cast, you freeze up. You freeze up and I drain the life out of you. It's simple. It's inevitable. Astrid's hand is shaken. We were friends. Were we? Skylar tilts her head. I used you. I needed your potions to get into the king's office. I needed your blood to survive the duel. You were useful. That's all. You don't mean that. You were nothing to me, Astrid. A means to an end. The lie tastes like ash, but she forces it out. This is the only way to make Astrid fight. The only way to make her kill without hesitation. Because Skylar has a plan. She's not going to kill Astrid. She can't. Not after everything. Not after Cam's ring. Not after the hug on the cliff. But she can't let Astrid die either. So she'll goad Astrid into fighting. Make it look real. And at the last moment, she'll let Astrid strike the killing blow. It's the only way to protect her. Bastet lunges. The cat shifts mid-leap, growing huge and winged and terrible, launching at Skylar with a snarl that shakes the bars of the cage. Skylar reacts without thinking. Her power surges out in a concussive blast that catches Bastet in the chest and hurls him across the arena. He slams into the cage wall and crumples. Bastet! Astrid's scream is raw. Skylar feels genuine horror. She didn't mean to hit him that hard. But it doesn't matter. What matters is Astrid's face. The grief is gone. The hesitation is gone. What's left is cold, hard fury. You're going to die, Astrid says. Finally, Skylar breathes. Astrid casts. The spell hits Skylar like a battering ram, knocking her off her feet. Before she can rise, Astrid is on her too fast, too close, and a vial shatters against Skylar's chest. Immobilizing elixir. Skylar's limbs lock. She can't move, can't breathe, can't reach for her power. Astrid kneels over her, the claw blade raised high. This is for Jessa. This is for Bastet. This is for making me believe we could be friends. Skylar closes her eyes. She thinks of her mother, or Anithia. The night the Dreki came, and her mother shoved her through the window and screamed at her to run. She thinks of Cam, his stupid jokes, his terrible knife-throwing, the jumble of fear she felt from him the night he was taken, the ring on her finger, cold and final. She thinks of Astrid. The hug on the cliff, the dress she transformed at the ball, The way she asked for a clean death because her mother needed a body to sail. She thinks, I'm glad I knew you. Astrid's blade cuts the air. The blow doesn't come. Skylar opens her eyes. Astrid is still kneeling over her, the claw blade still raised, but her hand is shaking. The fury has cracked, and underneath it, Skylar sees the grief. The desperate, aching hope that this is all a lie. I can't, Astrid whispers. I can't do it. Do it, Skylar hisses. Kill me. That's the point. No. Astrid lowers the blade. I won't. I don't care if you used me. I don't care if we were never friends. I won't kill you. Then we both die. Then we both die. Astrid drops the claw blade. It clatters against the stone. She reaches down and grabs Skylar's pin, the hairpin, still clutched in Skylar's frozen fingers, and pulls it free. And the world ignites. The mate bond. The moment Astrid's hand closes around the pin, lightning arcs between the two weapons. The claw blade on the ground, the hairpin in Astrid's grip. They spark and crackle, blue-white energy jumping from metal to metal, and Skylar feels something hook deep into her chest. Feels it pull. The immobilizing elixir burns off like morning fog. Skylar gasps and sits up. Astrid is staring at her with wide eyes. What? Astrid starts. And then the marks appear. A heat on her forehead, directly between her brows. A burning that doesn't hurt, that feels impossibly like coming home. Astrid's forehead is glowing too. The same light, the same heat. A living flame taking shape. Orange and black and silver. The colors of the Fire Dynasty and the winged panther of Arteria twined together into a single blazing sigil. What is this? Skylar whispers. The cage erupts. The runes on the bars flare white hot, then shatter. The metal groans and splits. The locking spell unravels in a cascade of sparks. The crowd screams. Guards scramble. The king surges to his feet, face a mask of fury. The mate bond. The custodian shouts, his voice cracking with age and wonder. The heirs have formed a mate bond. The covenant is broken. The cage is undone. Skylar stares at Astrid. Astrid stares back. And in that moment, Skylar understands. The mate marks on the tapestry. Nyx and Eloria. The duel was never sacred. It was never inevitable. It was a trap designed to keep two dynasties at war, to prevent exactly what has just happened. Two heirs becoming one. Traitor, the king roars. Treason, kill them both. A flamethrower, one of the queen's blooded menagerie, rises at the arena's edge, heat already shimmering around his fists. That. A blast of fire cuts off Skylar's reply. The flamethrower stands at the edge of the arena, hands already gathering another blast. For Sver. The second fireball comes screaming toward them, and Astrid steps in front of Skylar, raises her hands, and shouts the word she hasn't been able to cast in 6 years. For Sver. The shield explodes out of her. Golden and shimmering, it blooms between her palms like a wall of sunlight, and the fireball hits dead center. The flames splash against the barrier and die. The flamethrower staggers back, his own fire reflected, his tunic smoking. Astrid is shaking, but her hands are steady. She cast. She actually cast. 6 years of failure, 6 years of guilt, and she cast. And then dozens of blooded soldiers pour into the arena from every entrance. The king's personal guard, flamethrowers and kinetics and physics and shifters, they surround the wreckage of the cage, powers already glowing at their fingertips. This was always the plan. The king never intended for anyone to survive. Skylar, I can't exhaust them all without killing you and Bastet and Kaida. My power doesn't discriminate. It takes everything. Then we fight the old-fashioned way. Astrid raises her claw blade. Skylar snatches her pin off the ground. Bastet, limping but upright in his winged panther form, positions himself at Astrid's back. Kaida hisses, her small body vibrating with fury. Then the sky splits open. Mjolnir arrives like a thunderclap. The silver dragon slams into the center of the arena with a force that knocks soldiers off their feet. His violet eyes sweep the chaos, and when they land on Skylar, his voice booms through her mind. Get on! No. Astrid first. Get Astrid out. There is no times. Zryan has been taken. The king and queen have him at the heart. Astrid hears the words. They cut through the noise of battle like a blade through silk. Zryan. Taken. The heart. Where? She demands. Hidden Canyon. South of here. But there is more you must know. Mjolnir's voice shifts, carrying something like grief. Zorion is not just a rebel, he is their leader. He has been leading the resistance against his father for years. And now his mother knows. Astrid already knew, she saw it in Zrion's eyes this morning. But hearing Mjolnir confirm it, hearing that Zrion is captured, sends a spike of cold terror through her chest. Go! She shoves Skylar toward Mjolnir. Take Mjolnir. Find him. I'm not leaving you. You have to. I'll follow with Bastet. He can fly now. Go! Skylar hesitates 1 heartbeat. Then she grabs Astrid's arm and pulls her close. Don't die, she says, fierce and low. You either. Skylar swings onto Mjolnir's back. Kaida launches into the air beside her. The silver dragon crouches, then tears through the sky. Astrid turns to Bastet. Can you carry me? Always, the panther says. His voice in her mind is the same old rich baritone. Hold on. She climbs onto his back, gripping the ruff of fur at his neck. His feathered wings unfold with a sound like a sail catching wind. And then they are rising, leaving the arena behind, leaving the soldiers and the king and the screaming crowd behind. The hidden canyon. They land near a canyon mouth an hour later. The entrance is hidden behind a waterfall, a curtain of white water thundering into a dark pool, but Astrid feels the magic pulsing behind it. A force field, invisible but solid. Skylar is already there, dismounting Mjolnir. There's a barrier, she says. It'll hurt anyone who tries to walk through. Can you break it? Skylar flexes her fingers. Cam's ring glints on her hand. Watch me. She presses her palm flat against the invisible barrier. Her power flows out, controlled and deliberate, not the explosive blast from the arena, but something aimed. The barrier absorbs the drain, unraveling thread by thread. The magic screams. Then, with a sound like breaking glass, it collapses. They enter the tunnel behind the waterfall. Kunk! Narrow, dark, sloping steeply downward. Bastet shifts to his smaller cat form to fit. Mjolnir stays outside, too large for the passage. Kaida clings to Skylar's shoulder. The guards come without warning. 2 Dreki burst from a side passage, one a bear, one a serpent. Astrid doesn't hesitate. Her claw blade finds the bear's throat. Skylar's pin punches through the serpent's eye. Both guards drop. 2 more, Skylar breathes. They move together without speaking. Astrid throws a hallucinogen vial at the first guard, who screams and claws at his own eyes. Skylar drains the second in a single efficient surge. The tunnel opens into a vast cavern. Cells, hundreds of them. Hexagonal chambers carved into the rock walls, each sealed with a membrane of pulsing magic. Inside, suspended in greenish fluid, are people, blooded people. Their eyes are closed, their bodies wrapped in vines that pulse with stolen magic. They are not sleeping. They are dead. Astrid walks forward in a daze. She recognizes faces from the conscription register. All of them here, all hollowed out, their magic drained like sap from a tree. The Rogue, she whispers. The whole city, the Vitalas, the generators. It's all powered by them. Skylar doesn't answer. She's staring at one of the cells, her face bleached of color. A young man with dark hair and a sharp jawline, dressed in traveling performer's clothes, suspended in the green fluid like a specimen in a jar. Cam Nightlock. Skylar makes a small, broken noise that is not quite a sob and not quite a scream. She presses her hand to the membrane, and Astrid feels the grief pouring off her through the mated bond. It's beyond tears, curdled into something cold and lethal. He's dead, Skylar says. Flat. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Be ready. Skylar turns away from the cell. Her eyes are dry. Because when I find the king and queen, I'm going to kill them. I'm going to drain them the way they drained him, right? Zrion. They find him chained to a stone pillar in a chamber at the heart of the cavern. His head hangs. His silver eyes are unfocused and glazed. Drugged. His shirt is torn, the long scar visible on his chest. Fresh wounds on his arms, burns, cuts. Zrion. Astrid's voice breaks. His head lifts with effort. His eyes drop to her forehead. The mate mark. The living flame. He swallows. You and Skylar mate bond, Skylar says shortly, working on the chains. It's not what you think. It's not romantic. It's a soul bond. Like Nyx and Aloria, the tapestry in the library, they were mates too. The whole history of the war is a lie. Skylar. Zrion's voice is raw. I'm sorry. I should have told you that you're the rebel leader. Mjolnir filled me in. We can talk about it later. Astrid kneels before him, uncorking a vial of antidote. She presses it to his lips. He drinks, coughing as the potion burns through the drugs. His eyes clear. Astrid, the mark. You and Skylar are not romantic, she repeats. It's a soul bond, like the bond I have with Bastet. She's my mate the way a sister is a mate, the way comrades are mates. I choose you, Zarian. I chose you last night, and I'm choosing you now, not because of fate, because I want to. He is hers, not fated, not tethered, not cursed. A pure, simple choice. His eyes shine. Astrid, I love you. I didn't want to say it because I thought it would mean goodbye. But we're not saying goodbye. We're getting out of here. The chains fall away. Zryan staggers to his feet, and Astrid catches him. Then a voice cuts through the cavern. Enough. Queen Audalie stands in the chamber entrance. Her hand is raised, her palm slashed, blood dripping down her wrist, and with her presence every spark of magic in the cavern gutters and dies. Astrid's shield vanishes, Skylar's power recedes, Bastet shrinks back to his cat form. Kaida chirps in alarm, Zrian's teleportation goes silent. Ottilie smiles. It is not a kind smile. Did you really think you could break into my heart and walk away? A queen's trap. Nullifier prime, Audalie says, her voice carrying casual arrogance. Not a discerner. Did you really think I'd marry into a dynasty of blooded savages without bringing something to the table? Astrid can't feel her magic, can't feel the amplifier gift, can't feel the mate bond. The cavern is a dead zone. Skylar's voice is ice. You ordered the assassinations. You sent the men who killed Jessa. Guilty. Ottilie examines her bloodied palm. Though the first few attempts were Axel's idea, he was so eager to prove himself useful. Axel steps out of the shadows behind her. His face is unreadable, but his eyes are on Skylar, and for the first time, Skylar sees something in them that might be shame. You tried to kill me, Skylar breathes, at first. But then I changed my mind. I wanted you to rule. You wanted me to be a puppet. You influenced me. You made me feel calm when I should have been furious. Skylar, don't. You killed Jessa. And you and your queen. You killed the only person Astrid trusted. Ottilie's smile doesn't waver. The witch pet was collateral damage. What I wanted was Astrid dead before the duel. If Astrid died, the blood binding would kill you automatically. 2 heirs eliminated, no messy public execution. And Jessa? Astrid's voice is hoarse. She died wearing my clothes. She died because you wanted me dead. Yes, I'm told she screamed. I'm told the fox screamed too. Quite a lot of screaming, actually. Astrid lunges. Zarian catches her, his arms locking around her waist. Don't. She wants you to attack so she has an excuse to kill you. Listen to my son, Ottilie says. He's always been the clever one. Shame you wasted all that cleverness on a rebellion that was doomed from the start. Zryan's arms tighten. You're a nullifier. That means you can't kill us yourself. You can only block our magic. Correct, which is why I brought help. Guards flood into the chamber Dreki, blooded soldiers, hooded enforcers. They surround the small group, weapons drawn. But before the messy part, I want you to understand something. Ottilie steps closer to Astrid, close enough that Astrid can smell the perfume on her skin. Roses and something metallic underneath. The heart does not exist. Not anymore. It was never a source of magic. It was a gate, a portal to another world, a world where magic is so abundant it spills through the cracks. 500 years ago, Nyx Naxtern stole the heart from that world and brought it here. He used it to power his queendom, until the magic ran out. Astrid's mind reels. The blight is the consequence of draining a world that wasn't ours to drain. The other world is dying, and its death is bleeding into ours. The storms, the floods, the withering crops. All of it. Because Nyx was a thief. Then why didn't you stop it? Skylar demands. Stop it? Ottilie laughs. The blight is a tool. It weakens Archeria, keeps Isfjell desperate. And I've spent 20 years convincing my husband that invading the north is the only way to save Vatra, a united continent under Vatran rule, all the magic channeled through our infrastructure, all the blooded conscripted to feed the rock. You're insane, Zryan says. Impractical. And now I have everything I need to bring the heart back. Ottilie gestures at Skylar's pin. That pin. It's not a hairpin. It's a wand. A witch wand. I've been searching for it for years. Your mother took it when she fled, and I thought it was lost forever. But here you are, hand delivering it to me. Footnote. Astrid stares at the pin, the hairpin Skylar has carried since she was 10, the weapon that sparked against her claw blade and branded them as mates. The weight of the pin in her hand changes. Her fingers tighten around it, and for an instant she sees her mother's face, Gwen, reaching for something she never had. Give me the wand, Ottilie says, and I'll let your friends live. Zryan will be imprisoned, but alive. The witch can return to her frozen queendom. You stay here, the Fire Dynasty needs its heir, and I need someone to drain for the next few decades. But you'll be alive, all of you. Skylar looks at the wand, at Astrid, at Zryan, jaw tight with fury, at Axel, standing silent behind his queen, at Cam's ring on her finger. And she pretends to hand over the wand. Axel steps forward. His hand reaches for hers. His influence pulses through the dead zone. Ottilie's nullification doesn't block blooded powers. Only witch magic, and Skylar feels the familiar calm wash over her. She lets it come, then she spins and drives the wand into his throat. Skylar kills Axel. The wand Skylar sharpened to a killing point punches through his trachea in a single motion. Axel stares at her, his mouth opens, a wet, broken sound, and then blood spills over his lip. Skylar, I don't. Axel falls. His body hits the stone. His eyes are still open. Kill them, Ottilie shrieks. Kill them all. The chamber explodes into violence. Zryan throws himself at the nearest Dreki with his bare hands. Bastet sinks his teeth into a guard's ankle. Kaida breathes fire, proper fire, her first real blast, and catches Ottilie's sleeve, sending the queen stumbling back with a shriek. Astrid has nothing. No magic, no shield, no potions. But she has her clawblade, and she has her rage, and she has the memory of Jessa's broken body. Astrid kills the first guard with a slash to the throat, on the second with a blade between the ribs. The third is a physic, a woman with hands that heal. The physic lunges, and Astrid dodges, and then something silver flashes through the air. The wand. Skylar has thrown the wand. Astrid catches it, and the world comes alive. She has never held a wand before. But the moment her fingers close around it, she understands. Facto, filer round, money intendus, living too. It is an extension of her. It is her mother's wand, her grandmother's wand, the wand of every Naxtern witch who has ever lived. It sings for her Evask. She shouts, and a blast of pure white light erupts from the tip, throwing the physic backward. Avask and the Dreki trying to reach Skylar are hurled aside. Avask and Ottilie's nullification frays at the edges, the dead zone cracking. Ottilie screams. Her nullification is failing, was never designed to hold back a wand of this power. For the first time, Astrid sees fear in the queen's eyes. But then a guard catches Astrid from behind. A blade slices across her face. White-hot pain explodes through her left eye, and she staggers, blood pouring down her cheek, the world tilting sideways. Half her vision is gone. MJOLNIR. Skylar's screen cuts through the chaos. The silver dragon crashes through the glass dome in a shower of crystal shards and starlight. His violet eyes lock on Ottilie, and the queen turns and runs. Zryan goes after her, but Bruma is there, his father's dragon, the great bronze beast of the Earth Dynasty blocking his path. Father and son face each other across the burning chamber. Go, Skylar shouts at Astrid. Take the wand. Go. I'm not leaving. Look. Astrid looks. Through the shattered dome, she sees it. A tear in the fabric of the world. A hole cut into the sky, opening onto a darkness full of unfamiliar stars. And riding toward it on the back of a lunar dragon, a creature of moonlight and shadow, is a figure. Not Skylar. Skylar is still on the ground, staring up in shock. The Shadow Man. The figure who saved Skylar in the alley, who spoke to her on the island. The Shadow Rider draws a wand identical to hers and slices the sky open, a clean cut spilling unfamiliar stars. Wand, Skylar screams. Wand, unlock Astrid, the wand. It's a key. Use it. Astrid doesn't understand, but she trusts Skylar. She raises the wand and the magic sings through her. Avask, the sky tears open. Through the portal, Astrid sees a jungle, a world with 2 moons and silver roads and a sky full of unfamiliar stars. The lunar dragon plunges through. 4. The Shadow Rider vanishes into the light, and Skylar is running toward the portal, Kaida clutched to her chest. She reaches the tear and turns back one last time. Astrid, come on! But Astrid can't move. Her eye is gone. Blood pours down her face. Zryan is still fighting Bruma. Bastet is wounded, his fur slick with gore. I can't leave him. Then follow me. When you can. The wand, it knows the way. And then Skylar is gone, swallowed by the light. The portal begins to close, the edges knitting together like a wound healing. Astrid stares at the closing tear. Forder, at the dying light, at the world beyond the world that Nick stole the heart from. The world that is dying because of what he did. Zion is still fighting, still alive, still hers. But if she doesn't go now, she'll lose the sky. She raises the wand. I am Astrid Nashtern, witch queen of Arterea, descendant of King Nix Nashtern. I bear his wand, his blood, his burden. And I will not let his mistakes destroy what is mine. Avesk. The portal tears open again. Bastet shifts, wings unfolding, body expanding, and Astrid climbs onto his back. Her vision swims. The pain in her eye is a white-hot spike drilling into her skull. But she is still holding the wand, still holding on to consciousness, still holding on to the thread that connects her to the portal and the world beyond. Go, she whispers. Bastet launches through the tear. The cave falls away. The battle falls away. Zryan's face, terrified and fierce and beautiful, falls away. And then there is only light and cold and a sensation of falling upward into a sky that has never known the blight. The other world. They land hard in a jungle. The air is thick and wet and smells of flowers she's never smelled. 2 moons hang overhead, one silver and one gold, casting twin shadows across alien foliage. Silver roads wind through the trees. Distant lights glitter in the darkness, and surrounding her, dozens of figures step out of the shadows. They are pale, hollow-cheeked. Their eyes are dark and watchful. Black veins spider across their faces and hands, the same black veins she saw on Ezra, on Skylar, on every ex-hoster she has ever seen. Dozens of ex-hosters. They close in around her, silent and intent, their power humming in the air like a swarm of bees. Bastet growls, his wings half spread, but he is too exhausted to fight. Astrid is too exhausted to cast. The nearest ex-hoster reaches toward her not to strike, but to touch the wand. His black-veined fingers stop an inch from the silver. He speaks, and the word is not in any language she knows, but it sounds like welcome. She clutches the wand to her chest and meets his eyes. Somewhere in this strange world, Skylar is a captive. The Shadow Rider has taken her. The lunar dragon has vanished. And Astrid is wounded, half blind, surrounded by enemies or maybe something else entirely, with no way home and no idea what comes next. But she has the wand. She has Bastet. She has the mate mark still burning on her forehead, the bond that connects her to Skylar no matter what world they're in. And somewhere back in the cavern, Zryan is still fighting. Still alive, still hers. She holds on to that thought as the ex-hosters close in. You just heard Astrid step through a hole cut in the sky. She is holding a wand she now knows how to use, following her platonic mate into a world where ex-hosters gather openly in the dozens. The story does not end. It crosses a threshold and dares you to follow. That threshold is exactly where the authors want you standing. Ellis Hunter is not one person. It is the collaborative pseudonym for Katie Ellis Brown, deputy publishing director at Harville Secker, and Becky Hunter, a freelance book publicist and author. They met in 2016 in the publicity department at Headline, and what they built together is less a writing partnership and more a strategic alliance between 2 people who understand the publishing machine from the inside out. Ellis Brown acquires books. Hunter publicizes them. Together they wrote one knowing at every step what shelves it would land on and what readers would expect when it did. That is not a cynical origin story. It is an unusually honest one. The romantasy genre right now operates on a known vocabulary: dragons, fated mates, dueling heirs, magical bonds. Readers come to these books with a checklist in their heads. The authors knew the checklist because they have watched it drive acquisition meetings and marketing briefs for years. So they gave readers what the checklist demands, and then they made a deliberate decision about where to pull the rug. The mate bond is the clearest example. A trope that usually signals romantic destiny is deployed here as platonic soul-deep sisterhood. Astrid and Skylar are mated, branded, bound. they are not lovers. The romantic arc belongs to Astrid and Zarian and follows a much more conventional path, enemies to allies to chosen partners. Two kinds of bond, two different functions, and the one that the genre usually treats as sacred is the one the authors chose to redefine. You give the market its soulmate language, but you use it to build a relationship the market has been underfeeding female friendship as destiny. The ex-houster is another move from the same playbook. The genre knows the persecuted magic user who is too powerful to live. Usually that figure is a villain or a tragic monster, or a love interest who must be saved from their own nature. Skylar is none of those things. Her power drains life. The text never softens that, and her moral arc is learning to use it for protection rather than destruction. The authors wrote an ex-hauster as the protagonist you root for, not the problem you solve. And then they ended the book by throwing her into a world where dozens of ex-hosters appear, immediately suggesting that what made her monstrous was never her power, only the kingdom she was born into. The final image of Astrid surrounded by ex-hosters is not just a sequel hook. It is the logical consequence of building a world where the categories that drive the plot, blooded, ex-hoster, witch, heir, are revealed to be local rules, not universal ones. The other world has two moons, roads, civilization, and a population of people who would be killed on sight in Vatra. It does not flinch when a witch and her familiar land in its jungle just watches. A story about women who refuse to kill each other, in a system designed to make them kill each other, lands differently when you know it was built by two women who met in a publicity department and decided to write the book they were tired of not seeing on acquisition lists.